So, this gift will help you answer specific kinds of questions. Right? Here it
It's
is.
a periodic table.
No, this is not the actual gift, but this is another set of paper. This is a set of information that allows you to answer.
Dad, I never got one.
You never got one? I dropped one off there. Somebody should give it to you.
Okay. There's 10 more. He gave us a bunch.
So, the periodic table allows us to answer questions like this one. Is this an ionic compound or a molecular compound?
I can't see the number.
Yeah. Everybody.
Ionic or molecular?
That is ionic?
How can you tell so fast?
That's ionic because it doesn't have a metal.
Does that make sense?
No.
What do you mean? No.
Ionics are metals and a non-metal.
Oh, wait.
All
No.
right, an ionic is metal and a non-metal, huh? So what do you think?
Wait, it's molecular.
It's a molecular compound. How do we know it's a molecular compound?
Because it doesn't have a metal.
It doesn't have a metal.
Choosing ionic or molecular.
So you have carbons, that's to the right of the green staircase. Hydrogens, that's
Right.
not a metal,
Well,
right?
Well, it should be.
Oxygen, that's to the right of the green staircase. Sulfur, is that to the right?
Yeah.
All right. And nitrogen?
Yep.
All right. All of them are to the right of the the green staircase. Therefore, that was not an ionic compound, but a what?
Molecular.
Molecular compound. Now, here's another one. Ionic or molecular?
Ionic.
Ionic.
How can you tell?
Because Fe is iron. Fe is iron in it. So
Iron
since
is
it has a
metal.
metal, it's ionic.
Iron is a metal, right?
Wait.
Therefore, this is what kind of a compound?
Ionic.
Ionic
Because
compound.
and O was oxygen.
So these
Wait, what if it has
go right here?
What if
Yes.
it has an
But do they still count as the last one? Do they still count as right of the
No, they're all metals.
metalloids? What
No,
about
the
if
bottom
it's-
two rows, the lanthanide series.
No,
Okay?
I'm saying, what
Oh,
if it's a
shoot.
green? What if it's green?
Green, the bottom green.
What if it's semi-metals?
Oh, yeah, then you got a mess, right? You gotta have more information and you have to have the material. You know, there are parts in computers that if you apply a voltage, they act like a metal. If you don't apply a voltage, they act like a non-metal.
Ooh,
Does that make sense? Therefore,
metalloids.
that's where we have the metalloids. So, is it a ionic compound or a molecular compound?
That's hard.
Depends on the conditions that are set up around it. Does that make sense?
So, the semi-metals are a group of atoms that, under different circumstances, can be metals or non-metals.
Yeah, metals or non-metals. You can straight it.
Okay.
All right. So, we have the abilities now to identify molecular and ionic. Yes, question? Red and green is where these two rows are supposed to go. Green row and red row are supposed
They
to go
didn't
there.
want.
Blue
They
row
didn't.
should go-
They didn't have enough space to put them all there.
Yeah,
'cause
8.5 by 11 was decided by our forefathers a long time ago.
I mean, they didn't
Hold
realize.
it sacred.
I mean,
Keep
for a
that
long,
8.5
also for a
by
long
11.
time, they thought that all of these
That's
were
the
just
size of
one
the paper,
metal.
right?
For a long time, they thought all the
That paper is
greens
8.5 inches by 11 inches.
they thought like all these were all one element.
No, they didn't think so. They knew. They knew the whole time. But just like I said, we're used to writing on paper that's this size. Therefore, we made it fit this size. Periodic table's right there if you want it, gentleman. Okay, so here is another question that I have for you. Okay,
You ready?
is this compound? Let's see. Yeah, is this compound soluble or insoluble?
Soluble.
Wait,
Fe iron.
I don't.
Fe is iron. That's right.
But CO is
That's
cobalt.
insoluble.
See, this is a capital O with 3 of those O's. This is a carbonate
Yeah.
polyatomic ion.
Cobalt.
So it's called what? What do you think this is called?
Iron carbonate.
Iron carbonate.
Wait, I forgot. Well, I forgot to read about carbonate.
And that's the gift that I mentioned. You guys all ready for your gift?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a graduation gift because you're moving onward and upward. Here it is
What is that
for
piece?
your success in showing up all the time, especially today, because today was
Here,
necessary
give one to me.
to receive this gift. I
Well,
know,
we
but
didn't come every day.
today also qualifies as
We're
an
coming
important
as
day.
many days as we can.
And today especially, because today seems to be the day that you get the gift. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Can you read this tiny gift I gave you? It's so tiny, but I figured your eyes were tiny.
I can read it.
I can read it.
Yeah.
I can't read it. So could somebody read for me the, let's see, well, let's read the first row. First one. Can you read the first one? Go for it.
All the compounds of the
Alkali.
alkali
David,
meant
this is how we knew.
Group 1A. Lots of what?
Are
Lots of rules.
soluble.
Soluble. Very good. I've already told you that rule, didn't I? Right? Group 1A. Where's Group 1A? You guys know? Show it to your neighbor. Point it out on your neighbor's periodic table.
Big one.
Group 1A are all soluble, and that's what Rule 1 says. Can somebody read Rule 2 from the couch over here? Okay.
Wait, where's the element that thing is A?
One drop the David.
Yes.
All songs contain any
Plus, that's ammonium, NO3, ClO4, ClO3, C2H2O2 minus are soluble. Did you get it?
Isn't that really rare to have one of those?
Did you gather those things?
Yes.
I want
If it has NH4,
Mm-hmm.
NO3,
Okay, Rule 3. Who can read Rule 3 for me?
I will.
All right, gentlemen.
All
Chlorides.
chlorides,
Uh-huh.
bromides,
Bromides.
bromides,
And iodides.
iodide salts contain ClBr or I are soluble
Except
except combined with Ag plus, Pb2 plus, and Hg2.
what's PB?
that's lead. So we got silver, lead, and mercury. And I already told you that one as well, right? Group 7 are all soluble except the 3 exceptions, lead,
Wait, that
mercury.
says
and
sulfate.
the next one does, right?
Yeah.
Number 4. Who can read number 4?
Why are they called salts?
Here
Why
we go
are they
again.
called salts?
Salts is the name that you give for an ionic compound. So, ta-da! Surprise! Salt is not just the salt you put on your table. It's also anything that is an ionic compound, anything that contains a metal.
That's where the word salt.
That's right.
Table salt is typically sodium and chlorine.
It also has potassium in it. It also has iodine in it. It has a little bit of bromine.
But I mean, it's
It has a little bit of
mostly-
silicon and a little bit of oxygen.
I'm saying it has most.
It's mostly one of the
Yeah. But table salt is an interesting thing. It has lots of different compounds in it. All right, we're going to read number 4.
Also, I'll read it.
Okay, go for it.
All sulfates, salts containing SO4 are soluble except those of Pb, Ca, Sr, Hg2, and Ba.
All right.
Those elements. What are those
Lead,
elements?
calcium, strontium, mercury, and barium. So sulfates are generally soluble except for, again, a few
That
exceptions.
means lead is almost never
Yeah,
soluble.
lead is like not going to want to be
Almost
soluble.
soluble. Almost never soluble unless
Sulfate?
it has
Sulfate is a group of atoms that came together,
SO4.
right? They're all non-metals,
Yeah.
but they form, in the end, an ion. What do you call that sort of thing?
Ion.
It's an ion,
It's
but
like,
what kind of an ion?
Ionic compound.
It's a many
a
Polyatomic ion.
polyatomic ion, many atom ion.
Not the
It's when a
poly.
bunch of atoms come together. I'll read number 5, okay? Because this one's a long one. All metal hydroxides. In other words, a compound that contains OH in it. And all metal oxides, compounds that contain O2, are insoluble. These are all the insoluble rules. Except of, obviously, the groups of 1A. And some groups of 2A, which are calcium, strontium, and barium. All right? And the rest there, we won't read. We don't have to worry about that, okay?
I'm gonna read it.
So 6. Go for it.
And all the salts that contain PO, PO, and S are insoluble except those of group 1A and 8.
And ammonium. All right, so we got the rules. Whoops. We got the rules. Can somebody tell me? Look at the rules. Tell me. Well, you can leave it here, and every time you come, you can get a new one, or you can get it, right? That way, we won't ever lose them. Here it is, gentle people. Tell me if it's soluble or not.
I think it's.
It is
Do you know, Sister Scott?
It is soluble.
It's
It is salt.
How do you know?
Wait,
How do you know? Here's the hint. Here's the hint. It's either soluble or insoluble.
Soluble. Wait.
Did you get the hint?
It's insoluble.
How do you know?
What was your hint?
Which rule talks about iron? No rule talks about iron.
Well, it's
Because
it doesn't have group 1A. It
Which
doesn't
rule
have
talks
group-
about carbonate? CO3.
Also,
6.
POCO
6. That's right. And what does it say about all those salts?
are insoluble except with group 1A and NH1.
All right. Praise the day. It's what? Insoluble. Solid. Dun, 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 dun. All right, we did it. Hooray. So now we can play the game, soluble and insoluble. Ding, 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 ding. Ready? Here it is. New rule, a new game. Here it is. You ready for this? Oh. There it is. Soluble or insoluble.
I'm pretty sure that's not soluble.
Soluble.
Not soluble.
It is soluble.
How do you know?
Because it's on the soluble. It's in. Yes,
Rule
it is soluble.
Rule 2?
It is soluble.
What's rule 2 say?
All salts containing NH4 plus NO3. CO1 4.
ClO4.
CL.
And this is it. This is it. So rule 2 says that perchlorates,
also chlorine-
ClO4 minus, are
3 says
soluble. So what do we write down here?
But it has PB, which is lead, so that cancels out. Group 7.
Soluble.
Uh-huh.
But that's why it's the.
Instead of soluble, we say what? What is the letters? AQ. That means that when placed in water,
It will
it will dissolve. AQ. All right, you ready for another one? You ready for another one? Soluble or insoluble?
Insoluble.
How do you know?
Because on number 6 it says PO4 is insoluble.
Okay, all phosphates are insoluble except for
1A. Group 1A.
right, NH4.
What's CR?
Okay, so
Chromium.
what is CR? What is CR?
Chromium.
Chromium, and this PO4 is called phosphate. Phosphate. So this is chromium phosphate. And what do I have to put down here? Solid. Which means insoluble when you place it in water.
Melted it.
Oh, I could melt it and make it a
Wait,
liquid.
what is it?
It was insoluble because groups or rule. What was it? 6. Rule 6.
PO4. Yeah, PO4.
All right. We started a minute late. We went a minute over, but I'm sad to say that it's time to go play.
I wish I could go home and copy this.
No, drop on the black table over there. You can drop off the periodic table and your new gift. I'll keep it safe for you.
I got one.
Over there on the black table.
Take it right now.